Hello and welcome to Daily Draw. I haven't done one of these in a while. I was doing the Subnautica daily videos. But I figured I'd turn back to this because this was I was honestly having more fun doing these. So I think I'll switch back to doing these. I'm still going to do for the few people who did watch the Subnautica videos. I'm still going to be doing Subnautica videos, just it probably be like once or twice a week. Primarily because I've gotten to a point in Subnautica where it's actively trying to fuck me over, I think. I don't know why, but the game, I've gotten to a point where I just go to certain biomes and 5 warpers spawn and murder me, like, instantly. So I can't really progress, and it's frustrating, and games aren't fun when they're frustrating. So yeah, that's why that's kind of stopped, because no one wants to watch 37 episodes of me constantly dying. That's not fun. That's not entertaining. That's not interesting. So my random suggestion this time around was Rogue with silver eyes with a weakness for shiny baubles, and I've used the term bauble before. You know, everyone's like, "Ooh, shiny baubles." It's a very high fantasy thing, shiny baubles. But I looked up what shiny baubles was. Excuse me. And it turns out, you know, those just like spherical Christmas ornaments. That's a bauble. I figured it was like trinkets, you know, like tchotchkes kind of thing, just like weird shaped things. But no, that the bauble is just a sphere, a decorative sphere. So I decided to draw like a rogue elf, cause I've been on the elf thing recently. Like 90% of the drawings I've done in the past month have been elves. I don't know why. I just recently, for some reason, fell in love with elves. I don't have a good answer for you for that one. So I decided to draw an elf kind of like snatching a bauble off a pedestal, kind of Indiana Jones style. Yeah, I think that's kind of the vibe I was going for, as you can probably guess just from the video you're watching. Of a sped up version of me drawing. I'm bad at recording audio for these things. You know, that's the nature of it, and I'm going to slow my roll down real quick here. Yeah, drawing people in. My apologies. Drawing people in poses in general is very hard, which is possibly the dumbest thing I could have said right then. But drawing poses with hands is very difficult. Hands in general are most artists' just fucking bane. They're the worst. I hate drawing hands. If I can avoid drawing hands, it's the worst. It's like if I can avoid drawing wrists, waists, or ankles, I will do so. Like here, I just straight cheat and just copy the hand over because fuck drawing that hand twice. And it's the same position, so you just mirror it and it'll look fine. But like I'm not drawing hands. I hate drawing hands. I know it's kind of like an artist cliche at this point, like, oh, you know, draw your hands. Everyone figure out how to draw your hands, but hands and feet are the worst. So recently I've been doing that kind of like simplified comic book. You can kind of see it there a little. Simplified comic book feet. Here I'm just cheating on the waist by having it like a blown out tunic. Cheating with the feet by doing those like cartoon triangle feet, which honestly I think looks good. because I use a very simplified style anyways. It's kind of a sketchy, messy style, which I like. So I mean, if I like it, whatever. But like, it doesn't portray itself like to draw those feet or in my style, and then I draw these like super detailed shoes. It looks weird. Like it looks like the shoes aren't part of the drawing because they're not. Because they're these like super, in-depth, highly rendered shoes, which is what I used to do. I used to spend more time drawing the feet and the hands than the rest of the goddamn drawing, which is I think why I'm not great at torsos or at waists, I should say. But again, that's one of the hidden points of these videos is not only for me to kind of start a dialogue and kind of practice talking, I guess, but also to kind of re-examine my art from this side of it, because I'm watching the video as I record this. I'm watching myself draw, and it's very very informative. Because you notice things like, oh, like I messed up that shoulder, or like why did I do that, or oh, I should have drawn it like this, or I should really have more coffee before I record these. Because like I roll out of bed and do these drawings, so that side of my brain is kind of. But hey, what can you do about that? So now I'm at the point where I'm starting to color, and I'm not very good at coloring. I usually use like one or two base colors and then do like a room color shade, which is a technique I straight stole from someone else, but then again, art stealing kind of go hand in hand for that kind of thing. But yeah, I just kind of do a layer under my ink layer, my drawing layer, and just fill in underneath it. It's cheap, it's simple, it's effective, and I think it looks fine. Like I think it does its job. It lets you it informs the colors, and you get to keep the integrity of your line drawing. The only downside is that there's when you're filling in the gaps, sometimes there's like spaces, like gaps in the color under your line, and when you go to use the paint bucket, which is one of my favorite tools, when you go use the paint bucket, sometimes it fills the whole screen, so you can't really see. So a couple times you might see me drop the ink drawing to see where the see right there, yeah, to try to find where the gap is, and I found it there. So yeah, picking colors is always so difficult for me because I'm very partial to like your super dark colors, and you're kind of it's weird. I like to use either super bright, like almost neon colors, but I also really like to use like your deep saturated colors. I like your purples and greens. I really love purples and I really love greens. The problem is that purple and green next to each other look awful. Like you want to do like a persona like style, like OC kind of thing. It'd be a lot of purples and greens, and it look like trash. And I know it looks like trash. Like the artist in me says, "Wow, these purples and these greens next to each other look like hot dog shit," but I still would do it. I still have done it. It's like it's a weird thing where like, my personal aesthetic, like I recognize it's bad. I recognize it's awful. Just like my kind of like quick hashy kind of drawing style. Even when I did traditional work and I did pen and paper, I would still like do that kind of quick hashy work with the pen and paper, and now I'm doing like the shading, which I usually do on a separate layer just because, and I'll pick my room color, which is usually like what kind of light source is it, the outside or the inside, is it is it a warm shade? Is it a cool shade? Because that's probably the most valuable thing I took away from some of my my color theory classes, is that shadows aren't just black. There are no black shadows. Black is not a color that exists in reality. It's a manufactured color. Shadows are blues, purples. Sometimes you can have pink shadows, or you can have orange shadows. Like the light here, I was imagining it was coming from some kind of like lamp, like a hanging lamp that had like a hood on it to focus the light down onto the bauble. So I was trying to go for like a candle, like kind of lamp, oil lamp kind of shade. So I picked kind of like a orange, like a deep orange, because it's like a oil burning. It's dark, At least the oil lamps that I've burned had give off this almost kind of, which is a weird thing to say, is a dark light, like it is a weird thing to say. It's a dark light. But then I drew the spotlight on a separate layer. There was a fuck up with the fill again, which rounded out the picture, having this thief, this rogue, kind of reaching up, trying to snatch this bauble with his eye spark, and that kind of wraps up the drawing. So that finishes out the drawing, and I do hope you folks had fun listening to me ramble on and yawn a lot. It is like 9 a.m. when I'm recording this, so yeah, and this will hopefully be the formal return of daily draws. Like I said, these videos will be replacing the Subnautica videos. The past couple of weeks between familial stuff and work stuff and just general shit, and Subnautica being a twat, haven't really produced anything on that regard. So hopefully this will stick and my life will kind of mellow out again, and I'll come back to making these videos because I like these videos. So hopefully you guys did too. Thank you for watching, and have a lovely day. Bye.